Hey everybody, Rhadamant here. Thanks for tuning in to Frost and Fire. Last episode was kind of a strange one. Some false attacks and mech clusters that are replicating. We had the cliffhanger of a sapper raid from the north, and they decided that the viable way to attack me would be to plow through this mountain. They reached about here until they gave up, deciding that they've taken too much time, and they turned around. Unfortunately, that left the mech cluster that is now spewing toxic atmosphere, well, undestroyed, untouched, in fact. I've kind of decided to keep the toxic spewer and this mech cluster going. I'm going to leave them there. I am not going to interrupt what they're doing. And the reason being is, as long as I don't mind the toxic fallout, they can do no harm. There's really not any problem with leaving them out there, given that I don't spend a significant amount of time outdoors anyway, because of the ridiculous temperatures that we experience here. So, there's really no harm in letting them stay. What I do want to do is to make it a little bit easier to enter the caves. If I'm going to be stuck indoors, I might turn to become a little bit more subterranean than I have been in the past. Now, the stay fortified zones are going to include the entire mountains here. And I'm going to get the remainder of the ship chunk that landed before sort of digging around underground in hopes of finding, exotic goods, in hopes of finding some resources that we might need. But I will happily trade with exotic goods. So in order to secure this area better, we are most certainly going to need to, a little bit of vomit. We're most certainly going to need to add some doors and cordon this off so that in the case of a sort of infestation, we can deal with them rapidly. All right, Phoenix, that's cute, but that is a very tiny square that I wanted done. There we are. All right, Raptor. Your turn is up. We have got skin hardening wouldn't be terrible. An architect arm would be fantastic, provided I could afford it, which perhaps I cannot. Well, let's see. If I went with bionic arm, Bash could definitely benefit as a brawler, as could Phoenix, but so too could JD, given the amount of crafting that he does, or Gabe, with the amount of planting and mining. But I think at the end I won't buy it. It's priced a little bit outside of my comfort zone. And instead, I'm going to sell some gold and see what I can pick up. So, I'm eyeballing skin hardening. Given that we all have bionic legs, we still can outrun most enemies, and a little bit of skin hardening might give us an edge in combat. And then there's, of course, also Circadian Influence, which allows you to get the Assistant, which has you rest less, so that you're more productive. Both are tempting, but for the remainder of my silver, I don't know. I'm going to go with Circadian Influence. Sort of a risky thing to go for. So there's two techs unlocked with Circadian Influence. There's the Assistant and Half Cycler. So if you take a look here in Circadian Influence, the assistant just has you rest a little bit less often. The half cycler makes it so that you never need to sleep, but it lowers your consciousness by 15%, which is a short way of saying it slightly lobotomizes you. So there's ways to offset the half cycler. Like, for instance, a Luciferium addiction will significantly offset most of the penalties of the half cycler, but not all of them. But I don't necessarily want to become a Luciferium addict, so therein lies, you know, continued issues. Now, I'm going to add some snow clearing areas here because we had just added roofs, and I might want to shovel it out so that traversing the area is a little bit faster. And now that it has a roof, I can remove the snow clear area anyway, as it's not necessary. Gabe is having a really hard time. Food poisoning has been bad. So we do have some idle colonists. Phoenix and Hippie literally have nothing to do. This is one of the problems of staying underground. Now, the thing is, I can allow them to mine, because mining, when you have no skill at it, isn't necessarily a terrible thing when you're just digging into what you would perceive to be slag. So what I could do is add sort of mining tunnels here. I've mentioned this in the past, but I like to do every 3. That's a sort of a nice, efficient way to search for material. Pretty much all nodes of material are at least larger than a 1x1. So you could do every 2 tiles to be absolutely sure that you've found everything. But I find in most applications, every 3 tiles is plenty in order to uncover hidden wealth. And what I'm going to do is allow smelting. So our idlers will idle no more. They will be able to mine and smelt for us. And here Gabe is doing his best at it. And I could be mining the mountainside, the edge of the mountainsides. One way to do that somewhat safely would be to add roofing while I do the mining. But I'd rather not shave the mountains. I would rather potentially look for rare resources in those mountainsides. Because I know shaving this mountain here is not likely to yield gold or plasteel, uranium, or silver. But maybe digging into the mountain might. There's no guarantees, of course, but it could. Okay. Hopefully we are done with the poison food. It has not gone well for us. We're also heading into summer, or heading away from winter, more specifically. Raptor is trying to get some cataphract armor research done so that I can go to prestige and cataphract helmets. They're going to really help us protect our face. As you can see there, sharp protection is quite high. The installation is not great, but it certainly is better than what I'm dealing with now. And I did sell everybody's marine helmets and Raptor's prestige recon helmet in lieu of cataphract, hoping that I would get cataphract before I needed a significant amount of helmets. So it is a bit of a gamble, but is one I happily commit to. Now, if we dig through here, it will allow us to traverse the area a little bit more easily. So I'll dig this cross tunnel. Because right now, as the pathing goes, we are pathing we are pathing through the snow, and that's slow and toxic. I don't think anyone has significant toxic buildup because we spend so little time pathing through the snow. Like Phoenix has a tiny bit, but it's really not a significant amount. But this is indeed the best use of my time, strangely enough. Now here's to hoping that some sort of raid destroys that mech cluster for me. If significant enough time passes, like let's say I get the cataphract helmet that I'm looking for, what I could do is just go for it and destroy it myself. You know, I'm not going to wait forever is what I'm, the sort of more prescient point. At some point, I will lose patience and just destroy them myself. And they're not particularly difficult to destroy. I would just need to use either stacked mortars with EMPs and regular explosions to take out the unstable power cells, which would cause a bit of a chain reaction, destroying some of their structures, or shield belts and snipers to take them out at distance. Both methods would work reasonably well. So JD's been trying to get us bionic eyes. We only have a few more left to grab, like 2 more. Oh, a heat wave. Oh, well that's lovely. It will help warm up and bring us to spring temperatures sooner. No complaints from me. That's fantastic. All right, my guess is State Fortified does not. Yes, indeed it does not. Does not include those tunnels. So I'll add them in. This also poses a sapping risk. If we have Western entry enemies that come in through here, they might want to sap into these mining tunnels, which is a bit of a concern. Luckily, we know that the sapping is very, very slow. Hey, we struck silver ore just about immediately. So if we did end up getting sappers, I would have some time to deal with them. I would have time to react and cope. All right, so here is another bionic eye. This will go to Hippie, and then the last one will go to Gabe. And as you can see, most resource nodes are not like a tiny little 1x1. So doing a every 3 tunnel is a somewhat time efficient way of strip mining. Every 2 would be safer because nothing could hide from every 2. As you can see there's a possibility, of course, there's stuff here, but the likelihood of me, you know, I've played this game long enough that I have not seen many instances that materials will hide from a 3-wide tunnel. It's possible. It's just not all that plausible. So you're welcome to do whatever you want. I've made my case for the 3-wides. All right, Mr. Raptor. Gonna do a little bit of an eye surgery here. And I also have words of inspiration, or word of inspiration, I should say, which I might try to inspire JD. Bash's last inspiration was a tame, and as you can see, there's not been wild animals out here to tame. If there was, I might try to tame gorillas or whatever there was to tame. One of the features that was more recently added to RimWorld is that butchering tamed animals yields more resources than untamed ones. So there is a strategic advantage. Oh, well, here we go. A bunch of big things. 18 of them. to be specific, coming in to attack us. So here's the thing. I'm going to close this door, but only when the beak things fully engage the mech cluster. I want them committed to the attack. But I think they will be. Alright. Closed. There we go. Oh, and another incompetent cook. Oh, man. Those meals have been nasty. All right, JD, let's go ahead and open that back up as the mechs are now aggressive. They might reset. Oh no, they're full aggressive. All right, well, we're gonna obviously have to deal with this. So it's not super warm out, but it's more temperate. Regardless, I'm going to employ the heaters. And we do have mechs traveling through the sort of maze now. Some of these walls might not hold up. But this is exactly what I was hoping for. I was hoping for a situation where manhunters or something like that would do significantly the brunt of the damage required to clear out the mechs. So, prayers answered. Beak things oddly answering the prayers. You don't get to say that much as a Kenshi player. All right, there is a okay. For my brawlers, there is a lack of roof, a little bit, so I have to be careful where I stand, or I'm gonna have toxic buildup. All right, so now the enemies that are coming in are ranged. Ooh, Hippie getting a shoot frenzy right in the nick of time. And maybe what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give these turrets something to shoot at in a second, so that Raptor can berserk them. I think the pikeman might be firing at me. Nope, it isn't. Perfect. It's a bit risk, but it was worth it, because now the mechs are fighting one another. I'm going to actually turn off my turrets entirely. It would be less risky if I didn't have food poisoning. So the food poisoning was really the culprit of the risk there. All right, of all these turrets, spin them back up. And take a look at any of them that are particularly damaged, like this one, so that they could be retired for the fight. There's a Psycho Soothe male. That's fantastic. All right, all of these turrets are going to be shut off to draw the enemies closer. Hippie, JD, Gabe, Raptor going to back off those doors. Bash is going to leave this door open as a lure. Lure them in a little closer, and that way the auto turrets can be far more effective. Spin it up. And 18, huh? I don't want 18. Where's the other one that I grabbed? Okay, I'll just do this. It's too bad you don't have control groups for this. There we go. All right, now that they're in the trap, we spring the trap. Any turrets that get significantly damaged get turned off. And set the trap yet again. Luckily, the mechs are dumb. I don't know if they're dumb, but their AI just doesn't compensate for traps like this. Bring them in a little bit closer, and then all that's going to be left is just a few auto turrets to be easily dealt with by our capable our capable snipers and bashers. I call them brawlers, but with bash being 50% of all of our melee, we'll call them bashers. All right, so that problem is now dealt with. Turning off the rest. State fortified zone is going to include a little additional zoning. Looks like there's actually still a Scyther alive. Let me check numbers here. Oh no, there's a fair bit. They got in some sort of like stalemate deadlock situation, and these ones seem to be wanting to go left and right, and they can't decide, and they're stuck, which is rather hilarious. I do see the Scyther coming in. I'm just not all that worried, because all I have to do to kill this Scyther is spin up a few autocannons. And it's dead. All right, Bash, I'm gonna have you prioritize turrets. One of the turrets got down to 30%. Most of that, I think, was friendly fire. Oddly enough. And then what's left is four of the larger variety turrets, which actually I might keep. What I might want to try to do is to snipe out. I'm going to want to repair this wall here. Are they still stuck? Yeah, that is hilarious. I'm going to repair this wall. And what I might try to do is snipe out the toxic spewer so that I keep the turrets out here as a means of defense. But I remove the toxic, the toxicity. As far as I'm concerned, having a bunch of autocannon turrets out there, as long as I'm careful about that, is only a plus. It's only free defense, as far as I'm concerned. All right, so I do have to watch my toxic fallout buildup. It's possible to get a lot more buildup than you want. This is the last bionic eye. It is now done. Gabe was gonna go get it. Gabe's sleeping right now, so let's install it while he sleeps. Raptor, actually I'm gonna suspend that. Raptor, who's our best surgeon, has food poisoning. And JD has toxic buildup. So, oh no, his toxic buildup just dropped enough to make this safe. Never mind. Let's unsuspend. Yeah, anything above, I think, like 5% toxic buildup, and you have a consciousness penalty. But if it's low enough, you won't have that penalty. So we just dropped to low enough that I'm not penalized as a surgeon. Done and done. So yeah, I do think I would like to snipe out the toxic spewer. And probably the way to go about that is to exit here, go north, draw fire from the charge turrets, and let me paint a line here. Draw fire from the charge turrets with my brawlers, and snipe the toxic spewer. So this line represents the maximum closest range that I might be able to get to the charge turrets, I think. Let me see if I painted that right. Nearly right. Something like that. I like to use orders to paint lines. So, one correction here. Do not cross that line and we're good. It's not exactly true because, of course, this mountain significantly blocks this turret. So the line is more, I'll crudely draw this one. The line's actually truly more like that. To cover this over here. But, yeah. I have a good idea of what not to cross. So once Gabe is fully recovered from his anesthesia, I will send them in with sniper rifles, my brawlers, to soak up the ranged turret attacks, and we'll deal with that. The spewer leaving everything else intact. Now, Raptor has the ability to chaos skip himself, so I'm going to have him not use a jetpack or jump pack, and everybody else will be jump packed. I'm just going to rely on a Raptor's ability to teleport himself randomly as a means of protection against, you know, being overwhelmed or swarmed or whatever. Why do I hear shooting? Oh, they finally moved? Yeah, they finally moved. All right, Phoenix, get out of there. I was wondering how long they'd be stuck in stalemate limbo, and this long, exactly this long. I think all it took was Phoenix to get a little too close, and it sort of dislodged them. Essentially, some were trying to go... Yeah, they were trying to go in opposite directions, and as a result, they bumped into one another and couldn't pass one another. This happens often when you have like prisoners trying to, you know, prison break, and you can only get one warden into the prison cell, and then it blocks everyone else out from entering. I've actually had my auto turrets on the whole time. Let me turn those off for now at least. And we're gonna deal with these mechs the same way we dealt with the other ones, just turning on defenses once they're close. All of my mini turrets here have been fully repaired, so. Sorry, Scyther. It was a trap. All right, that's off, and that's off. And then there's one more Lancer somewhere. Oh, here it is. And Phoenix. Phoenix, you're making the Lancer angry. Here, just bash it. Lancers are not particularly strong against blunt. Phoenix has a blunt weapon, so he's ridiculously strong at killing Lancers with little risk to himself. There was a small chance that the Lancer could have dealt, you know, some sort of deadly blow if it got lucky hitting his face or something, but pretty, I mean, I took a calculated risk because there was a low chance of that. Inspired taming again. Cute game. Very cute. Alright, now I'm going to have everybody switch up their weapons. Gabe probably still has, yeah, the remnants of anesthesia, but he'll be a good enough shot to be able to clear out the mech clusters, I think. Because it'd be helpful if we weren't in sort of an annoying lockdown scenario due to the toxic fallout. So, cross this line here, and Yi gets shot at. That is what we've established. I painted it carefully and closely. Alright, so JD, come join us. I will purposely cross the line with my brawlers, drawing fire away from my shooters, which will also take a step forward and go for the toxic spewer. Oh, we're still getting shot at. There, let me try to reset the targets. Oh, we are too close and we're getting incendiary shot at. Here's Bash dancing around in the fire, trying to put himself out, despite the fact that there's measurable snow on the ground. Alright, Phoenix, you want to go help him? No, you're not doing that. Getting burned up pretty good. Alright, come on, snipers. I think if we move significantly this way, we'll still have a line of sight. But Gabe's been getting plinked, so I'm gonna have him back up. We'll still have a line of sight on the toxic spewer, but the other turret won't have a line of sight on us. And Mr. Gabe, you can just go back inside. Alright, toxic spewer at 5%. It's a lot of burns. At 0.5%. And it's been destroyed. Alright, let's get back inside. Not the most elegant, but seeing that nobody's dead and I, as far as I can tell, don't have any permanent injuries, we're fine. And the toxic fallout is now over. Alright, Mr. Gabe, would you be so kind as to actually go to a hospital bed? As your bed rest should have required you to do that. Everybody is now zoned, or will be in a second. Everybody's now zoned for fortified. That's actually why Phoenix went out and kind of messed with the mechs up there. Is well, there was that no fortified. I don't know. I don't want to speculate, but he wasn't zoned properly, and that could have been the cause of him trying to go out and he ended up pissing off the mechs that were up there, stuck in the stalemate. So. Let's switch our weapons. Now that we're done with the sniper, and I'm leaving. Like I said, I'm leaving the mechs out here, or at least the remnants of this mech cluster, as a means for defense. There's 5 turrets. I might as well. Worn leather. I will let my guys go for that. Okay, Bash is already fully healed. They were pretty superficial burns. He also has a healing enhancer. So the healing enhancer and being in a hospital bed made those burns pretty superficial. That's a pretty good sized steel chunk we found. I'm going to cancel the continuing mining tunnels in lieu of mining the steel itself. Of course, Gabe is bedridden, and I want him to be. The cache of supplies has expired, which is fine. I didn't intend to go for it. Now, the Scourge Cluster I did want to accept, and I think I'm going to accept it for goodwill. I'm accepting it for goodwill because I don't have a lot of goodwill with the United Cities, and I'm supposed to. So this is a smoke spewer with a 7-day countdown activator, and it also somewhat covers my entry. So that could not have been placed better. It has a low mech shield for ground projectiles. I don't believe it has a high mech shield. Oh, no, it does. Okay, so it has a low and high mech shield. Yeah, and I'm happy for it to be out there. Totally fine by me. Okay, so you can see we are spending some time and steel rearming the turrets for future attacks. Everybody in the colony, everybody, bar none, has Bionic Eyes at this point. Now, we haven't got a lot of the research done towards Cataphract armor. But that's mostly because, well, here, let me give a throne speech. It's mostly because Raptor's been sitting on the throne for so long trying to get his psi focus up that we've been spending less time attempting to research. I will need to... Oh, that's been on but roofed. I will need to remove some of the chimneys, or the chimney roofing, because we're getting to a point where soon it will be warm enough to cause food to rot. An encouraging speech again. Lovely. Hippie, you were supposed to wear jump packs. We'll have you switch. Now that this is becoming temperate, I'm going to start ground penetrating scanning again. We are pretty close to a guaranteed find, so I might prioritize it over research just to try to trigger that find. There is still about 1,010 plasteel left underground that I know of. Let's see here. There is ample steel that I know of. Oh, there's still uranium here as well. I'm not sure if I knew that. But now that I know that, let me get my uranium drill a little bit lower. So in hopes of not having food rot, I will preemptively turn my coolers back on, just so that it can't take me by surprise. JD making better clothing for us. And I'm going to start planting potatoes. That was sort of the concept. We won't get as much food, but we'll have to spend less effort. Oh, Gabe hitting yet another steel node. Well, steel is just not going to be an issue for us. Another thing I might be able to do, given the multiple steel nodes, and also the fact that I don't want a high chance of infestations, is to illuminate the area, or at least put some effort into illuminating the area. Doesn't need to be perfect, but it does. Illuminated caves do lower the risk for infestations, albeit only slightly. Freezing caves, however, that's where it's at. Okay, we're getting some masterwork quality stuff. Hey, we even have some skin spiders out here. Now, the giant smoke cloud that is spewing is not going to have that much of an effect because of all the unstable power cells that we've tapped. We have a quest, selling to Transcrozabo. One of the rewards is a neuroformer. Wow. Or Franklin, who's a misogynist. Okay, never mind. A neuroformer. That is the only reward that I see. So they want to buy 2 jump packs, and they'll give us a neuroformer. That sounds like an incredibly good deal to me. Jump packs are mostly chem fuel with a little bit of plasdealing components in them. A cost that pales in comparison to the benefits of a neuroformer. So I'm going to make some more chem fuel at my biofuel refinery and happily task JD with some neuroforming quest. So let's accept this. Now, Transcrozabo, or whatever it's called, I actually don't know where that is. I think that's probably within transport pod range. Yeah, it is. It's the only other town. There's 2 towns within transport pod range, and generally speaking, quest givers are only going to give you quests that are within range. It's pretty rare not to get that. Well, here's 1,000 more steel. And we'll start stockpiling the steel on the reloading benches. In fact, these reloading benches probably don't need to be heated or lit anymore. A little unnecessary. Especially given that solar panels are going to be generating dramatically reduced power due to the smoke cloud. If you mouse over this, it will tell you it reduces the sunlight. Now that would be more of a problem if I was growing using sunlight, but I'm not really growing using sunlight, so as you can see, I'm still 1,000 watts over my minimum power requirements. It's not of any sort of concern. Raptor can freely use Silver Drop. All right. And he does have Aerodrone Salvo free as well. It's been long enough that I can now call on a salvo. That's awesome. All right, chem fuel from organics is done. And I'll power on the smithing so that we can start jump packing. Now, of course, I could just take off the jump packs I currently am wearing and do this quest instantly. But I would prefer to craft a few jump packs and then take the worst ones because the jump pack quality matters. We have 3 good ones. So if I craft up normals, we'll trade the normals. If I craft up excellent, we'll swap our current good ones for excellent ones. And if you're wondering what the quality does, the quality affects the range. The jump range goes up for the distance that you can get per jump based upon the quality. So an awful jump pack won't get you very far. A legendary one will help you go much, much, much further. So these caves here, I think it would benefit me if I remove them from home zones so Hippie isn't spending time cleaning them. I know it's a little strange because I do have cables in them, but I don't want to waste her time. So what I'll do is just add some doors to the home zone and leave most of the home zone out. So if we do get light lights that break or cables that break, I'll know to replace them, but it's not going to be, you know, we're not going to have a case where we are sweeping insect caves. Alas, everybody, I am out of time. So I hope you enjoyed that little beak thing, mech cluster, double mech cluster, neuroforming questing. It was eventful. I handled all of the events smoothly, but it was pretty eventful. And I suppose, in a way, these turrets here, the auto charge turrets, could have dealt a lot more damage than they did. If you have any feedback for me, let me know in the comments below. Thank you so very much for watching. I'll catch you next episode. Farewell, everybody.